But then when he sold the Hamilton Bulldogs AHL team to the Canadians and they moved it, he went and bought the Belleville Bulls in the Ontario Hockey League, then moved them back to Hamilton, keeping a team in Hamilton of some sorts. Who did he hire to run that team? Steve Staios. I also think there was a financial partnership between Staios and Andlauer as well. Staios builds up that OHL team. They win a Memorial Cup. Andlauer and Staios are very close. This guy's the new owner of the Ottawa Senators. Steve Staios is an up-and-coming executive in NHL circles. He's currently working in the Oilers front office. He's the guy a lot of people believe is going to take over for Ken Holland at the end of next season. Some people thought it was going to happen as early as this offseason. Ken Holland wants to hold on to his job for one more year. He wants to try win a Stanley Cup here in Edmonton. So now it's leading to the question of, is Staios really going to be the next GM of the Oilers? Will he wait out Ken Holland's contract and then take over? Or does he want to go work with his buddy Michael Andlauer in Ottawa and take over that front office there? It's an interesting thing, Liam, and it actually does have a pretty big impact on the future of the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because Staios obviously has ties to both parties, and this is something I think, what was it, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago now, we thought maybe would have already happened, that Steve Staios might already be the Oilers general manager, but obviously that hasn't come to the front yet. So I don't know. This is an interesting one. I'm a little torn on how much I truly care if Steve Staios is the general manager of the Oilers or not, to be honest. Like, in one way, like, I think he looks like he knows a lot about what he needs to do and to get the Oilers in the right direction. He took the Hamilton Bulldogs to the Memorial Cup that one year too, but also, like whoever it was in the chat mentioned, like, do the Oilers really want a rookie GM at this moment in time? Maybe the veteran in Ken Holland is what the Oilers need. And I'm kind of on the train of allowing Ken Holland just to finish this thing out, and then whatever happens with Staios happens.
Yeah, I mean, he is under contract with the Edmonton Oilers, right? So if they don't want to let him go, they can not let him go. And if he wants to quit, then he can sit idle for a year and then take over the Sens job next offseason. But then I would argue, well, if you're just going to wait a year to take over the Sens job, wait a year to take over the Oilers job and have a team with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. But there's other wrinkles to that, right? If he really is tight with Andlauer and wants to work with them, that could affect things. Frank Saravalli is going to be on the show tomorrow. We're giving Frank kind of 36 hours to get as much info as he can and then report back to us on what could be happening with all of this. Ravina is in and says, I don't see a reason to get rid of Ken just yet. This isn't about getting rid of Ken. This is about Ken Holland wanting to retire, man. He doesn't want to work past this next season. Simple as that. He's going to run out his contract. He's going to say, thank you very much. And the Oilers will likely need to find a new general manager. Other names I think that you could see in that conversation is a guy like Brad Holland. I know some people will be screaming nepotism or whatever, but this is a guy who's really smart, analytical approach to things. Like, I would have no problem if Brad Holland ended up being the GM, or you could look at outside hires as well. Peter Chiarelli, well, maybe not.
Probably get an interview.
When you look around the league, or when you look around the hockey landscape, yeah, like, there's always going to be GM candidates that you know of and you've heard of. But look at the Toronto hiring thing, for instance. Brad Treliving kind of fell into their lap, and he was named a candidate, and there really wasn't a whole heck of a lot else. It was like Doug Wilson, Peter Chiarelli. No one seemed like a legit candidate outside of Brad Treliving. So are you going to run out a year and go, well, we hope someone shakes loose that we like? Because if you're the Oilers, I don't think you're hiring a Doug Wilson, or I don't think you're hiring, well, obviously not Chiarelli, but I think you need to go with someone new. And if you have a guy like Staios who is new in your organization and who you trust to be your future GM, you do not let him walk. And maybe that involves having a tougher conversation with Ken Holland than you thought.